community service show, Your Business Matters, with Pallavi Ahluwalia of Ahluwalia Law Offices. Tune into their show between 10:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. every Wednesday on 104.9 FM and ask her all your legal questions. Ms. Ahluwalia owns and operates Ahluwalia Law Offices PC. She received her law degree in 1996 from Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, and also has a graduate degree in English Literature and Master of Philosophy in English Literature from the University of Punjab, Chandigarh in India. Ms. Ahluwalia is also a certified mediator and has served as an appointed mediator for Collin County Courts. In addition to regularly volunteering at legal aid clinics hosted by the Legal Aid of Northwest Texas, Ms. Ahluwalia serves as a legal advisor to Chetna, a non-profit organization working on issues related to domestic violence. She also spearheaded and participated in the inaugural annual legal aid clinic that was held to benefit the underprivileged South Asian community. Ms. Ahluwalia also served on the North American South Asian Bar Association's Executive Committee and is the founding president of the South Asian Bar Association of Dallas. Her speaking engagements have included being the speaker at the National South Asian Bar Association's annual conference, speaking at the conference held by the Texas chapter of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and a presenter to the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce activities. She has been featured in Texas Lawyer magazine for an article on law firm ethics. Ms. Ahluwalia speaks English, Hindi, Urdu, and Spanish. Her office handles cases involving immigration and naturalization law, family law, business law, contract law, and number in the studio 972-235-5555. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from the Ahluwalia Law Offices PC. Get ready to ask any question related to immigration and naturalization or anything related to family law, corporate or civil matters. The number to reach them for appointment is 972-361-0606. You can log on to ahluwalialawoffices.com or yourdaclawyer.com. Would really like to correct that website. It's ahluwalialaw.com. And with that, would like to welcome Pallavi on the airwaves of Anisha Radio 104.9 FM. A very good morning to you, Pallavi. How are you?
A great morning to you, Meetu. Glad to be here with Your Business Matters on your morning show. And we're here every Wednesday. Glad to be part of this interactive South Asian community that has so many questions for us always. And happy to answer them on the air. Just a few updates, and I think this one is the repeat one, and this is out there for people from Nepal, and this is to let them know that TPS announcement that came out on June 24th, the period for registration for the temporary protected status that would give you employment authorization as well as travel permission, and this is mostly for people that are not either maintaining status or not in status, or if they want to move from their current status into this status. Now this status, you have to understand, does not lead to a green card. Okay, this status is only a temporary protected status category that's been given, and you could use it by applying for your TPS or registering for your TPS between June 24th and December. And that is also, I think, the 24th of December, and that's the time to register, and the benefit would be for a year and a half, so about 18-month benefit.
All right, perfect, and thank you for sharing that. We always welcome all the extra updates that you give us on the airwaves of Anisha Radio 104.9 FM. Once again, this is Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices, and the number in the studio is 972-235-5555. And yes, this would be the time to call her to get your answers straight on the airwaves of Anisha Radio. You do not have to tell your name or anything. We can maintain that. And yes, once again, call us right here, right now. And Pallavi, what else? Tell us.
Yeah, so we also have a reminder out there to DACA recipients who have 3-year EADs. They should be returning their EADs by July 17th. So this is something that happened in error by USCIS. There were about 2,000 DACA recipients. So this is Deferred Action for Childhood, Early Childhood Arrivals that had applied for their EADs. They in error got their EADs for 3 years. So because of the lawsuit, and this is the one that is in the Fifth Circuit against the administration, there has been a requirement, and USCIS has posted a notice saying that if you have received an EAD that has 3-year validity, then you should return it, because if you do not return it, a failure to return it would cause an error for this applicant to renew their DACA or to get the EAD benefit again.
All right. Should we start taking calls?
Absolutely.
Let's do that. Panisha Radio, you're live on the air. Please, can you reduce the radio volume and then ask your question, please?
Hi, my name is Sunita, and I'm calling you with regards to EB2 filing.
Okay, go ahead,
of
please.
Green Card. We are on L1, and it's been 6 months we are here now.
Okay.
And we just wanted to know what is the status like when you're filing for EB2, at the processing time, and can we stay up here after we have filed?
Yeah, so you are maintaining current status, and you said that is the L1?
Yes, it's L1, yeah.
L1B or A?
L1A.
Okay, so that's a national executive or manager. You do have an option to even do an EB1. That would be skipping the perm requirement under EB2 and going directly to the I-140 based. So it would be a similar application to how the L1A is done, except that there is a few more prongs that have to be met. EB2 would be slightly more tedious. It takes about a couple months of recruitment to put out advertisements. Then the perm process and to get that approved or moving takes about 6 to 8 months. And after that, you can file for the I-140. The EB1 category for India is about, I'd like to say, 7-8 years behind right now. And so it's still showing dates of, I just want to confirm dates here for EB2. It's still showing October of 2008 dates, so it's still a good 7 years behind, 7.5 years behind. So I would say that if you have the option to use the EB1, then do that, because that's the current category. And with that, if the EB1 I-140 were to get approved, then you would be eligible to adjust your status in the country.
Yeah, that's like, the company policies don't allow us to file an EB1 right now. So I'm not sure if we can go ahead and do it by ourselves, right?
No, EB1, so anything that you're doing with the company, whether it's EB2 or EB1, on this particular regard, would be through the company being the petitioner.
Right, okay. Thank you so much. That was very helpful.
All the best to you.
Thank you so much. Once again, the number in the studio, it is 972-235-5555. Going to our next caller, Panisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask a question, and very quickly, because we'll be running into the break, but want to tell all my listeners that Pallavi will be with us for a little longer time. After the break, you can join her again. So let's go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, Ms. Pallavi Ahluwalia. Greetings. My wife and I, my name is Venkat. I'm calling from Plano. My wife and I, we are U.S. citizens. We have our own business here. My question is briefly into two parts. Is there any legal way of bringing a housemaid or a cook from India in a non-immigrant visa to the U.S.? Obviously, we know that pending the immigration reform bill in the House, and then it does not become a law yet. But in the current law as it is there any legal way of bringing someone, a housekeeper or a maid or cook, number one? And if it is, the second question is, can he or she become an immigrant later? We can do a green card later down the line. We would comply with all the federal minimum wages and the Texas state wages and so on.
Right.
So assuming that, is there a way we can do this legally?
So the category of getting somebody to live at home or be a housekeeper at home, this particular category does not have a direct visa category that could be applied for. Now, what could be done is that there is sometimes the requirement for a seasonal worker, and that could be under the H-2A category. However, it's not a successful category at all. Okay, that's something to understand, because the U.S. government, you have to obtain certification from the Department of Labor, and the U.S. government doesn't think that kind of worker is not available in the country. So there is not, so even to get a cook from outside, that is not, it is a tedious process, tried, tested by many people, but not a successful one. A lot of people that actually bring in domestic help from outside are themselves immigrants, either on an visa or some other visa in which they allow, their domestic help to also travel on visitor visas with them. But that is not a category that is clearly available in immigration law and is not a successful category to use.
All right, thank you.
H-2A and H-2B.
Correct. Would not be a successful category, but yes, H-2B would be one of the things as a seasonal worker. However, the requirement to show that seasonal work would not exist in a situation like that. So that's why I say it's not a successful category.
So the short answer is there is no legal way of bringing someone in
10
any
seconds.
non-immigrant visa category.
Yes, that's exactly
All right.
correct.
All of you, please hang on to your questions. We will be right back with Pallavi on the airwaves of Anisha Radio 1.
All right. So I know that we have calls that are coming in. So we have given the Nepali update as well as the update for the DACA recipients who have received their EADs for 3 years. Please do remember to return them to USCIS. USCIS is trying to reach out to people that have received those. If it's one of our people, one of our listeners, do pay attention to that length of that EAD, because if you don't return it, I believe they are warning that it will be held against you for the further renewal. So let's take calls, Meeta.
Let's do that. Taking the next caller on the air, Anisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yeah, hi Pallavi, this is Zohair from Immigration Voice.
Hi Zohair, how are you? Haven't heard from you for a while, so hope you're doing well and you have some updates for us today.
Yes, I do. So I'm sorry I haven't been in touch. So the update is, we just added 3 more sponsors yesterday. The list is 42 co-sponsors for the bill.
Okay.
So the list of co-sponsorship is growing, and we had been to DC, and I haven't come on Furniture right now, but the advocacy event was a huge success. Most of the legislative offices and most of the congressional staffers know about this bill. So we are quietly working on this, and I'm getting a lot of, whenever a company lays off and then the people wake up and realize, oh my gosh. So Microsoft just announced a layoff of 7,800 people. And that just energizes the skilled immigrant community to understand that being stuck in the green card backlog for too many years, they could be at that point where they have already invested 8-9 years in the country and then the layoff happens.
Correct.
We are also booking a stall for the Anand Bazaar, the 15th August. The Immigration Voice will be there to stop by and motivate us. We are also Tennessee, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, the India Day Parade. There will be at least 100 volunteers in the India Day Parade from Immigration Voice.
Okay, very
So
good.
yes, on the background, all our chapters are very energized, and we are working to get this bill on the floor and get it voted on.
Sure. So just because it's been a little while, do you want to update the community which bill we're talking about so that everybody comes on board again?
Right, so this bill is called as H-2 213, which is about removing the country cap in employment-based green cards. And we are only talking about employment-based green cards because that's 14-15% of the total green cards that America issues every year.
Okay.
And what we are trying to make it is a little fairer system.
All right. So, and that's the one that is gathering a lot of support amongst legislators as well. So that's great because that's your work and Immigration Voice's work to raise that concern and have people, so as you called that bill, non-toxic earlier. So it's not hurting or increasing any numbers. It's just kind of evenly distributing it.
Correct. So it doesn't increase any H-1B, it doesn't increase any green card. And on the other front, we are also working with we are just working low profile because anytime President Obama or White House makes an announcement, it just generates too much of anti-immigrant noise. So we are continuing to work on the administrative fixes like EAD for 140, early adjustment of status filing. We are continuing to work on that too.
Right. So, and that's the announcement that got held off after almost being announced because of the pressure that the president felt. So that was almost there about a few months back, correct?
Right, so the announcement is not there, but the work continues. Anytime we make an announcement or President makes an announcement and it just generates too much noise.
Right. Understood. Great job, Zohair. And we look forward to, and so on Microsoft, you said 7,800. I'd read somewhere it was 18,000 people that are going to be laid off.
That was earlier, 2 years ago, right? This one is the one that is announced today morning.
This is, again, maybe I have an updated another news piece that is announcing a bigger layoff than even the 7,800, and that is from today too. So, and that's unfortunate for a lot of people that are stuck, because I do get some people that quickly get laid off and then don't know the employers withdrawing the H-1B. They don't have a process that's underway for the green card. So the options to remain in the country, especially if you are gone past the 6 years, become a little skinny for people that are looking to extend their H-1Bs based on that. So just be aware of that and just have your processes started out.
So correct, Pallavi, what you said is perfectly right. And we are reaching out to the skilled immigrant community and telling them, look, there is no permanent job, and there is nothing like having a green card. There is nothing like having an early adjustment of status. So it is up to the Indian community to realize every skilled immigrant is at risk.
All right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Zoher, for that update. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you on Phanisha Radio 104.9 FM. Zuhair from Immigration Voice. Moving on and taking our next caller on air. Phanisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hello.
Can you bring down the volume of your radio and then ask your question?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead.
One question. We have stayed in India. We are in green card. We have already spent 5 years. We have stayed for 1 week in India, more than 180 days. Is there any problem getting citizenship, ma'am?
Yeah, so you have been outside of the US for over 180 days in a stretch, you said?
Outside?
No. So you left the United States and you were in India for over 180 days? Is that what you said? A week over 180 days?
Yes.
Were there any medical reasons that prompted that? What happened?
One of our relative was expired. That's why we have been there.
So as long as there is a pressing reason and it can be enclosed in your naturalization application, you'll have to just kind of let the government know that this was not a shifting of the residence and it's not indicative. It was just this one-time case where this happened, and it was because of an emergency, and that was for a close family member. You'll have to enclose all that proof. That may let the government regard that time as not being outside the country. Otherwise, any stays outside the country for over 180 days will reset your physical presence requirement in the country and get you back in line to where you'll have to build up your time again in terms of the 5 more years and then 2.5 years here. So when you apply for your naturalization, just make sure that that argument is done.
Ultimately, if we are, what you have to show, ma'am?
So you have to be able to show the reason for the stay abroad, and that it was not a planned stay, but it happened inadvertently, and it happened because of an emergency in your close circle of family or friends or whatever, however you have to argue that, but you must be able to enclose the proof for that. So it'll be a different statement or request that you make for that 187 days not to impact you.
Otherwise we have to go for 5 more years, ma'am?
Yes. If that they don't regard that, then yes.
This period is gone.
Yeah, but not just not that quickly. You should try and argue it. If whenever you are eligible for citizenship, then I would use that information. And if there is in fact bona fide information on your side, then I would use it to your advantage.
Otherwise they will cancel it, no, ma'am?
Otherwise, they won't cancel it, but they will.
If they are not satisfied with our
right, then the naturalization application can be rejected. That's correct.
They can cancel.
They can reject your naturalization.
Right. Thank you so much for your call. And yes, 972-235-5555. That's the number in the studio. As I request every time, please keep your questions brief so that we can give more and more callers chance. People wait for the legal segment with Pallavi Ahluwalia. So let's give a chance to another call of ours, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hey, hi. How are you?
Very well.
Yeah. Actually, I have a question. I'm right now eligible for EAD, but the problem is I apply my change of status H1 to H4 in January.
Okay.
But still it's process like September is so I have a question. Do you think I can go Canada for
you been stamped earlier? Were you on H4 status before or no? Have you ever had the
two times. Yeah, 2 times before. I went India and as a H4 I.
Okay, so yeah, you could try Canada or Mexico, and if they stamp you for the H4, then you can enter the country and then apply for your EAD. That's right.
Oh, okay. But the question is because I applied in January for the change of the status. So till from the January till right now, I don't have any status, right?
No, you have a status that is a pending status. The government, the government is still at this point looking at cases that were filed in October for change of status. So they are quite behind it. They're about 9 months behind. So so by the time they catch up, it may be a few more months. If you have that urgency, then you can step out and come back in, and you can show the fact that you were pending. You had a change of status pending. You have to understand when you leave the country, the change of status application will get denied.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Thank you. So,
or the better idea to wait for the change of status over here.
Yeah, that would take you at least about 3-4 more months, and then yes. And you can also file an EAD, though the EAD will not get adjudicated. Perhaps it will create some pressure for the government to try and get your H4 resolved. So if you want to file an EAD based on this pending change of status, the Federal Register did post the fact that it is allowed to be done concurrently. The only concern is that it will not get adjudicated until the H4 is adjudicated, but maybe this filing will create some pressure for the government to adjudicate the H4.
Okay, so simultaneously I can apply for the EAD right now.
Correct. With the 539 receipt notice. Yes, you can.
Oh, thank you so much for your answer.
All the best.
all the best to you. Going to our last caller of this legal segment, and do want to mention here, you are listening to Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. For appointments, do call their front desk manager at 972-361-0606, ahluwalialaw.com, their website, or you can also log on to yourdesylawyer.com. Going to our last caller, Panisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, good morning. I just have one big question. Actually, I'm planning to apply for H-4 EAD for my wife. How long, assuming all the documents are all perfect and everything, how long is it taking normally for the approval, for H-4 EAD approval?
It can take as long as 90 days. However, we are hearing that some approvals have come in only in 30 days or 45 days. So the government has an option to go all the way to the 90th day. And if there is a request for evidence, then reset that time to a bit later. However, we are hearing of processing that's happening a little quickly.
So right now my I-140 is approved, so all I have to do is, I'm the principal H-1B, so all I have to do is I have to attach my I-140, the I-797 that I got for my I-140.
You have to, and then you have to be able to attach all the proof that you both are married. And the fact that you're maintaining status.
Oh, thank you very much, ma'am.
All the best.
All right, thank you so much. That's all the time we all have with Pallavi today, but she will be back next Wednesday, right, Pallavi?
Yes, I will be, and hope to be here to answer questions for the community again next week. Thank you so much, Meeta, for hosting me so well, and look forward to being back. Thank you.
Absolutely. Our pleasure entirely.